and welcome to the second part of Planet Action as we talk matters forest conservation, where we are as a country in ensuring that we protect our forest cover and ensure that we meet our target. Remember, the government, the Kenya Kwanza administration has set a target of ensuring that we plant at least 15 billion trees by the year 2032, and yesterday was a public holiday in an effort to ensure that this campaign and this drive again continues. So in studio we do have Kaberia Kamenju. He is the chair, Timber and Furniture Kenya Association of Manufacturers, and also Dr. Caleb Basweti. He is the secretary at the Environment Institute of Kenya. Let's now continue with our conversation. You had a rejoinder, I do understand, but as you respond to what Dr. was saying, my question would be, I know you're justifying, which is true, most of the Kenyans, of course, they enjoy the energy, the source of energies from what you've described, but how would you describe what is happening at the Mau Forest and even the reports that we are getting that, it's not in good shape?
All right, so let me first respond to Dr.
Right.
And well, also
Sure.
in conjunction with you, Purity.
Yeah.
Because as Kenya Association of Manufacturers, within the timber, wood and furniture sector, we are all the players in the sector, highly regulated, tax-paying, law-abiding citizens of this great republic. Now, I don't know why Daktari here and yourself assume that
no.
assume that we are seated somewhere with illegal loggers. So KM members are saying, all right, let's go cut the cypress trees. Then right next to me is a Daktari, he's an illegal logger, and he's carrying off to go and cut a mahogany tree. Now, especially players in the wood sector in this country, we have a higher interest in having these illegal loggers caught and arrested than the natural population. Now, let's not be alarmist, as Daktari is saying. And I want us to go into, right now, after the president reopened the forest, what measures has Kenya Forests, KFS, and the ministry put in place to ensure that we mitigate against illegal logging. Now, one, and I've said it, government, for the first time in history, hired 2,000 KFS rangers. It has never happened. So we have the staff complement working. Number two, if you're a primary woods processor who has been licensed and who has been sold to trees by government, because these trees are not free, who you have tendered for them, you have paid for them. Now, what happens when you're going into a forest? The first thing is you report to the forest manager or the forest station manager. You sign something called a forest compartment register. That is passed after the forest manager ensures you have paid your royalties to government. So you sign that I am going in. So you are escorted in. You are shown the boundaries of where you're supposed to cut. Because before then, you have an inventory forester who has come and ensured that if you're supposed to cut 20 cypress trees, he's marked the 20 cypress trees. So you're shown your boundaries. And even as you're cutting, you are being policed. You have the rangers doing their beat, doing their patrol, ensuring that you are not only cutting, but not going maybe to your neighbor's place.
Allow me to cut you short. If what you're explaining is happening everywhere, for instance, then why are we still getting cases of illegal logging happening in various parts of the country?
Yes.
Especially the Mau Forest.
And I'll go back to what Daktari said. Ethics. Ethics by Kenyans. Now, it is not a lie that the price of what you'll get for mahogany in terms of sawn timber is higher than what you'll get for cypress or pine or blue gum.
So they will just go for mahogany.
Now, what do we do as a country? We import a lot of our hardwoods from Congo and from South Sudan. All right? And those are when you walk here in industrial area, that is where that timber comes from. You can clearly check its origin from how it got into the country, and it's traceable. Now, within the industry, like all other industries within the country, They are miscreants who are doing the wrong thing. Now, we, of course, would want them caught even more than our environmentalists here, because they affect our bread and butter. So, and of course, as primary processors or secondary processors or furniture makers, our civil responsibility, if we see any wrongdoing in the forest, we will report it. So we are not part of the problem, we are part of the solution. So what is happening in Mau, of course, as you're aware, this is human population. I was really impressed when government said that we are not pushing the boundaries into Mau.
Yeah.
So the only thing we can keep on doing, in my view, is continue the monitoring. The court should mete out stiffer penalties according to the law. And 3, the citizens should not buy this timber. The citizens should be sensitized that if you're buying mahogany from Mau, you're destroying your country. You're destroying one of your water towers. So I think a tripartite approach would work the best. But what I want us to be very clear, Purity, is we do not sit in the same room with the legal loggers. And as my members are doing their legal business, we also have some members doing some illegal business. These are characters who operate in the shadows. We don't know them.
And you say there was also corruption.
Corruption is a problem in Kenya. And I think we need to give, because from 2018, when the last ban was put in and was open, when the moratorium was lifted in 2023, there's a lot of work that went on behind the sidelines. We had, of course, the task force. It gave its recommendations. So government sat down in conjunction with private sector, and we tightened it to make sure we can be able to curb this illegal logging. Now, of course, you will have isolated incidents, but from where I sit, it is a vast improvement to where we were in the past.
All right.
Yes.
And Dr. I'll also welcome your remarks on what we think should be done to ensure that our forest is protected, because, you know, why I was concerned, and I'm not against you, Kaberia, but my concern was in 2018, it was actually President William Ruto, then the deputy president, who imposed this ban, and of course citing the behavior of Kenyans, all right? And then in 2023, he again lifted the ban, and we saw the same behavior of Kenyans immediately after it was announced. We saw how, the illegal logging was happening, especially at the
what did we see? No. Let's qualify that statement. What did we see immediately the logging ban was lifted?
Like people getting into the forest.
You saw trucks carrying trees.
And cutting down, people getting into the forest and cutting down trees.
Okay.
That happened. I'm sure you agree with me.
I do.
That happened. So, I mean, what then should have been done to ensure that, yes, as much as we're trying to strike a balance here, then we don't go back to where we were before the ban was imposed in 2018. Yeah.
Two things.
Yeah.
Protection, which we do not have capacity to by that time. It's now the government has recognized the importance of protection. That's why we have more than 2,000 rangers.
In one intake.
Yeah,
2,300.
They are going to address protection. We of a critical resource, because the government has realized that the resource is dwindling, is going down, and there are consequences, environmental consequences. At the other hand, we have got a lot of land outside the forest.
Yeah.
Free land that requires afforestation. We have got a land use system known as agroforestry, trees on farm, where farmers should be supported by institutions like Kenya Association of Manufacturers to plant more trees, and they have a contractual arrangement with these farmers that by the end of this time, this is what we require. These trees, we will be harvesting these trees from these are our trees. However, the demand for timber and non-timber product may not be enough from trees outside the forest. Now this is where we require prudent policies, protection, and ethical behavior. Those people who are caught doing those unethical practices, they should be arrested. However, what we are lacking is the monitoring aspect and the distortion of information. Somebody can go into the forest and says, I've come because of corruption. You can be allocated 20 pieces of trees, but because of corruption, you come with 40, 50. You cause degradation. That's what we were seeing when that Mauritania was lifted, right. which is which is unacceptable from the ecological angle. But we need the balance, the three things, the socio-economic and the environment. That's why we miss the balance. Otherwise, we were created by God to utilize this universe, including timber, including vegetation. But let us be good stewards. But because of, I don't know whether it is poverty of the third world, that makes people to lack ethics, to destroy other than sustaining it. They don't think that tomorrow I need that. So poverty and the demand for get richer quicker is the major problem.
Yeah, and it's the same.
That's why we need education, advocacy to teach people, Kenyans, on the ethical aspect of resource management. Yeah, that's the major problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Kaberia, I know you want to also respond to that, but allow me to also ask you this. I mean, right now we've seen campaigns on renewable energy, clean energy, for example. But then I think while you were speaking, you mentioned that there are families that rely on charcoal, for instance. We all know when you burn charcoal, it releases CO2, which contributes to the global warming. Can we really encourage them to use alternative, or can we as a country avail, because I know sometimes it's not available, is it possible to avail the clean energy so that we also cut on use of charcoal, because it really affects the environment? Yeah.
All right. My answer might not be what you're looking for.
No, I'm looking for yours.
Let me give you my candid thoughts on this.
Yeah.
It's a discussion we've been having with government, not yet come to fruition.
Yeah.
I am very clear. 80% of this country is either semi-arid or arid.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's fact.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the landmass of gazetted state forests and superimpose it on the landmass of this country, we will never get to, forget 30%, we will never get to even 7.5% of forest cover, just because of a function of land. All right? Now, when we look at the 20% productive land areas, let's take Kericho, for example, or Meru, where I'm from. Now, will you tell the farmer, subsistence farmer, who is growing maize and beans to feed his children, will you tell him stop that and grow trees? Because acre to acre, there is nothing that has a higher economic return on the soil than a tree. The only problem is how long it takes for it. So for me, it's very clear that if we're getting to 15 billion trees, the future is out of state forests. All right? The future is into, we have reforestation, that is planting trees where the environment is degraded, correct? We have deforestation, we all know what that means. And now we have afforestation. Now that you've talked about charcoal.
Yes, we have to wrap it up.
Yes, now that you've talked
Time is
about charcoal.
Yes.
Charcoal, the best tree to give you charcoal is Acacia totilis. Acacia totilis does well in drylands. Now, what is wrong if we plant 5 million hectares of Acacia totilis in Turkana or Marsabit, and then from that then on, use that for charcoal and export it? What's wrong with that? Let's look at Acacia Senegal, where you get Gamma arabica. Gamma arabica is a food stabilizer. It's a primary ingredient in Coca-Cola, and it's a primary ingredient in the pharmaceutical industry. Acacia Senegal grows in Darfur. Darfur, right now, if you Google, is probably 28 degrees at this time. Now, that's why I'm saying, moving forward, the future is in forestry out of traditional forests, out of traditional areas of forestry. So let's look at varieties of trees that can grow in semi-arid areas.
We have to wrap it up.
Sorry.
Doctor, we will not have time for your closing remarks because I'm told that time is up. But thank you so much for coming, and thank you for expounding on this issue on forest conservation and the challenges that the country is facing into ensuring that, you know, we can strike a balance on using, you know, logging the right way, for instance, sustainably, yeah, and conserving and protecting our forest. Thank you so much, Mr. Kaberia. Thank you so much, Dr. Caleb, for being here.
Thank you, Purity.
All right. That's it for Planet Action this night. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Purity Musianzuki. Keep it here.